Hi, y'all. I'm Allison. Thanks to the Rec Wheel and Lucinda, I've had a book sitting on my shelves all month, patiently waiting its turn. It's beautiful illustrations and gorgeous gold foiling just beckoning my name. And today, its wait is finally going to pay off because I am about to start reading The Princess Bride. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? It's even got a color map at the beginning and these beautiful illustrations. So today I am finally going to read this classic. I am so excited. As I mentioned, the Rec Wheel, if you're not familiar with it, is something I started this year, and I asked all of y'all to recommend one book that you would like me to read, and also to add 4 pages, because those pages will be used as stopping points. So I'm going to be reading this book and doing a little vlog for y'all. Every time I reach one of Lucinda's page numbers that she gave me, I will come back in, turn on the camera, and tell you what I'm thinking of the book up to that point. Now, if you've been wanting to read this and haven't quite gotten to it yet, don't worry, I will be avoiding all spoilers. I'm just going to give you my impressions and thoughts on the book. If I do want to get into anything particular, I will clearly mark it, as well as have a chapter break for it, so you can skip any potential spoilers that might turn up. Now, I've never read this one before. It has been residing on my shelves for years. Technically, this is my son's copy, but it just lives down here, so I've really been wanting to read it. I'm so glad Lucinda gave me the push to finally get it on my TBR. And if I'm going to keep up with my streak for the Rec Wheel, I only have a few days to finish this because April is just around the corner. So I'm about to dive into this. I'm excited to see how it's going to deviate, if it does, from the movie. And I'm hoping it'll elaborate on it and give us more detail on Buttercup and Wesley. I am familiar with The Princess Bride. I've seen the movie a couple of times. It's been quite a while though, and like most red-blooded American men, my son and my husband quote from this movie quite a bit. So I am really looking forward to this. Lucinda, thank you for putting it on the wheel. She said she read it years ago, really loved it, and found it unique. She hasn't come across anything like it since, and she knows I'll love it too. So I am excited to get into this. My first stopping point is on page 75. So I'll get to dip my toes in, get a feel for the book, and then I'll come back and let you know what I thought up to that point. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, I'm back and I have started reading it. I am loving every second of this book. It is just incredible. So unique in the humor. This is my type of humor. In fact, it reminds me so much of my dad with all of the little side notes, and it's just my dad's sense of humor come back to me. And this weekend actually marks the anniversary of losing him. It'll be 11 years on Saturday. So having this, I feel like, I've got him back with me. So absolutely loving it. Lucinda, thank you again for making sure I finally picked up this book. Now, I thought I was supposed to stop on page 75, but it turns out it was page 85. So I was excited when I got to read 10 more pages. And then I went past that and read up to page 100. So that just shows how good it is. And this one is the 30th anniversary edition. So it has an introduction for that. And then it also has the introduction from the 25th anniversary edition. So all of those pages were added on top of it. So I probably did about 120 pages. And it's the same as the movie, but different. And I love that. It's not necessarily expanded upon. Well, it is in some regards. But it's the story of Buttercup and everything is the same as the movie. It's the portion with the grandfather and the son. That part is different and expanded on. And I absolutely love that aspect of it. In fact, this is a book that I have been wanting so badly as an audiobook, but it does not exist. I guess there's something with the rights to it, but it's never been made into an audiobook, and it would be incredible to hear this being read aloud. But I am thoroughly enjoying it. I lost my piece of paper that told me what page I was supposed to stop on next. So, oh, I just saw it. Here it is. Okay, I get to go to page 170 this time. And I'm going to tuck this in here so I don't blow past the page again. The illustrations just really add to it as well. And I'm also picturing the cast as I read. So, just such a good time. If you haven't read this yet, then this definitely needs to be on your radar. It's so incredible. And I'm just going to go right back into it. So I will see y'all when I reach page 170. And that is Lily saying she's having fun too. All right, I will see y'all after a while. I'm back. I made it to Lucinda's next stopping point, and I didn't get past it this time. Still loving the book. It's now pretty much sticking with the movie, at least as far as I remember it. Let's see, we're at the bookmark. So, not quite halfway. No, it looks like I'm about halfway there. They're at the, all the little fight scenes and everything where Wesley is chasing after Buttercup and her. Oh, wait, that might be spoilers. So, anyway, there's some drama, some action going on. And it's just like I remember from the movie. In fact, I'm curious to see. I almost wish I had rewatched the movie before picking up the book. So without having a clear memory of the movie, it's really hard to tell y'all how much it's deviating and how much more is added. I think there is quite a bit added, but nothing's really changed. Although, you know what? I know for a fact the characters are more fleshed out. You do get their background stories for each of them so far, and I'm really liking that addition. But as far as the scenes from the movie, those are in here pretty much unaltered as far as I remember. So pretty much it's just, so everything's just kind of elaborated on, which was what I was hoping for, that you would get more insight into the characters, and you definitely get that. And again, I am loving the aside commentary where the author comes in, and it's the portion of the movie where the grandfather is reading the book to his grandson, and the grandson's asking the questions, and they kind of talk about it. That is handled differently, but it's still there, and I absolutely love that part. I think that's my favorite through the whole book. Anyway, I feel like all I'm doing is repeating myself, so I'm just going to dive back in and go up to my next stop, and then come back and let you know how it's going. So I've got a substantial little section to read next. I think I'm going to page 255. Once I reach that part, I'll come back in and probably gush about it some more. Yeah, that's it. I will see you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. I am now on page 255. Thoroughly enjoying it, of course. And it's much darker than I remember the movie being. I think because, the movie's got such kind of the campy fairy tale vibe to it. And it's easy to, you kind of dip in and out of that in the book. There's what I'm going for. Of course, it's still overly polite, as far as the conversations, no matter if they're being tortured, fighting to the death or whatever. Everybody's very polite and accommodating and formal, and I love it. But as far as, the characters, we got a little bit more depth to them, and I was a little surprised by that. So I know I've mentioned it before, but it has been a while since I've seen the movie, but I'm sure the characters have been expanded on because, it's a longer book, 2-hour movie, maybe even an hour and a half, considering when that movie came out. But I love it. Oh, and there is a reference in here because, with the asides and everything, kind of like footnotes to the story, there's mention of, the reunion scene between Buttercup and Wesley. It actually has in here an address for you to write the publisher to get the scene because of all of this stuff. And I was like, okay, so I looked it up to see what would happen because I wonder how many I wonder how many letters they got back in the day when this came out, requesting this scene. But I found it actually. The scene is online, and it tells you, I guess this is what you would have gotten at least later if you had written in or tried to find it. Because it does, originally it was an address to mail a letter with this self-addressed stamped envelope to the publisher, and then it had a little asterisk and it had a website down at the bottom. So, and the website was dead. Which is, that page was no longer there. So I did a little digging and I did find it. So I will put the website down for you in the description, and I'll put it up here on the screen. So if anybody else has read it and didn't bother to do that, then you get like another 2 pages in the story, and it was quite funny. I'm glad I took the time to do that. All right, I have more to go. My next stop will be at 3:40. I am probably 3/4 of the way into the book, and I'm really loving it. I will probably finish this tonight. We'll see how it goes. Part of me wants to set it aside and kind of savor it and enjoy it, and the other part of it is just like, I want to see what's going to happen. Even though I know, based on the movie, what's going to happen, I want to read it. I want to see it play out. All right. Anyway, I'm done rambling. I will be back once I reach Lucinda's last stop for me. I'm back yet again, and I really haven't moved. Well, I have to go get more water and all of that stuff, but we're in the same spot, and it's fine. I obviously have been reading. And look, I'm at the last little bit. So I actually reached the end of Buttercup and Wesley's story, at least where I remember the movie ending. And now I'm on to Buttercup's baby. And it starts with Lily saying hi. Lily, come here. She didn't start this until I turned on the camera, till I started talking. So I think she just wanted to say hello to everybody. But anyway, back to the book. It has, the part with Buttercup and Wesley and everything comes to a conclusion from what I remember of the movie, the point where it stopped, and then the book continues on. And I really love how it's done. I know I've probably mentioned it a couple of times, but you have like an extra narrative going on in addition to the main story of the Princess Bride. And it's the author telling the story of writing the book. And, of course, there's a third element, and that's because... Yes, hello. Can I have it? Thank you. The whole premise of the book is that it's an abridged version of a classic tale. And, of course, that's all kind of like this inside joke because there is no Morgenstern, So there was no original book to be abridged. And I really love how that was handled because it was just... You get these asides from the author explaining why he skipped this and what was skipped, and just so brilliantly done. But what I'm getting at is the last portion of the book is the sequel, Buttercup's Baby, and it starts out with, the background on him writing this and all of it, and I've just been loving every second of it. And now I've reached my next stop, and this is where we actually get into the actual sequel. So we're kind of picking up Wesley and Buttercup's story once again. And it's just so much fun. So I'm going to go back into the book and finish it up. I don't know if I'll be back tonight to tell you my final opinion or if I will just wrap this up tomorrow, but I will be back soon for y'all. So it's midnight, and I just finished it. I absolutely loved it. The ending, Buttercup's baby, that was really open ended and a little darker than I expected, but I still enjoyed it. And I, of course, am going to imagine a happily ever after for everybody. But it's just so unique and such a good time. It took me on quite a roller coaster ride because, of course, you have all the action and the humor in it. And there were times where it's just my heart went out to some of these characters, especially Inigo and Fezzik. I love him and both of them. They're just great characters. In fact, reading Inigo's final confrontation, with the six-fingered man, I got like teary-eyed during that. That one just really got me. It was just so well written. More so than in the movie. That scene's never really touched me like that. But in the book, for some reason, him repeating his catchphrase, if you will, it just, I felt all the emotion that he had in that. And it did. It made me a little... I almost got misty-eyed. I almost, shed a tear. But I didn't. And Lucinda, again, thank you for pushing me to finally read this. It's been on my shelf for years, and plenty of times I've thought about adding it to my list, but I never quite got it on there. So really enjoyed it. Oh, and in case you were wondering, you know how I printed this out, the quote-unquote lost reunion scene? I didn't need to do that because it was actually included in the book. So it was just towards the end. I think it was after it was actually in my last stop. I meant to mention it then and I forgot. So, but such a great book. If you haven't read it, I highly encourage it. And if it's sitting on your TBR like mine, if it's just waiting on your shelves, then make a point to pick it up. You won't regret it. It's just a delightful, such a unique story, and I had so much fun with it. So thank you, Lucinda. Again, if anybody wants to add a book to my will, then give me the name of the book, the author, why you chose it, if you've read it yourself, and then pick like 4 random stopping points, and I'll put it on the wheel, and maybe one month it'll come up as well. All right, I'm heading out. I'm so relaxed from all of this reading that I did tonight, and I'm quite sleepy, so I'm going to call it a night because I know Finley will be waking me up early in the morning. All right, good night or good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. I hope you have a great day. Bye.